Okay, here we go. This is lesson 12 of how to draw a Ferrari F12, and this is the final installment. So what I'm doing here is I did work on the rear wheel and tire, and now I'm working on the color balance, the tonal values difference between the lights and the darks, and I'm trying to accentuate those in the places where they need to be and soften them in some other places. The lower part of the fender, as you see here, it is picking up a little bit of reflection off the ground, so it's lighter than the parts up on top, and it's not completely in shadow either. So I'm trying to make that closer to the parts that are in shadow, but still light enough that you can tell there's a differentiation between the two of them. And I'm making the hood and the area just above the grill to be a little bit darker, because I thought that would be a good counterpoint to the lightness of the side and the lower fender. And I'm also going to take the lip around the very front of the hood, just over the grill, and lighten that up. That is light in the photograph, but it's not as light as I have it right now. I was saving that area so that I didn't go too far with it and make it too dark. But now I can, knowing that I've darkened up the top, I can darken it up a little bit too and still keep it in balance. But that's what I'm doing, is I'm working on areas to make them correspond to where they would be in tonal value on the car. And I have a photograph to go by, of course, and that's a big help. But in other cases, I also want to make things more dramatic, and in so doing, I'm going to make a better drawing of it. And in some cases, that makes making things darker so they're softer, or making them extremely dark so they stick out. And the moderate or medium values are the ones that make things disappear, and they either very light or very dark tend to make things pop up. And I do both. I put a dark one and a light one together, and then you really get a big contrast between the two sitting right next to each other, and it just jumps out to your eye. Like on the left front headlight, you can see that most of it is very, very dark, but there's a highlight on it too that comes from the fender and goes partway across the lens of the glass, and it really makes that stand out. So that's the kind of thing you want to do. You want to call attention to the things that are different, and you want to make that difference larger so that it's a more exciting drawing. People won't fall asleep while they're looking at your drawing. You want to make it so that it is it's fun to look at, and also shows the vehicle in its best light. And light is, of course, what we're showing here. That's all we can do is work with this as it appears in the light. So that's what photography is, and that's what your drawing is doing too. It's capturing light. But it's coming along great. I really, really like the way that this thing went, and I'm almost sorry it's done now, because it's such a pretty car to draw. It just looks great. Not just my drawing, but the car itself is a very lovely car. And of course, it's a front engined car rather, for the street, and I think those are personally probably the most practical Ferraris, is the front engined cars, because there's more accessibility to the motor, and you don't lose all the luggage space that you lose when you put an engine in the back end where a trunk would be normally, and then scoot everybody up front and still don't have a place to store much up front. So for me, a GT car, so-called, is a lot more practical for the street than a race car like a 458 or something like that, or 355, 360, one of those, 430. Those all are race cars for the street. But a practical touring car that's fast as hell too is also very, very practical if you have the money to do it. And this one has enough room in it to carry some luggage, and has a relatively large trunk, and it's just a great looking car, fun to drive from what I've been told, and I hope to do that one day. Anyway, we're just about done. I hope to see you tomorrow. We will start a brand new car, and it's going to be an older car this time. I hope to see you then. Thank you very much. Bye.